Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
And welcome back. It is another week, another great day of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. And right now we're kind of on the buyers buying real estate with Kelly Cook right now. But as always, for selling, buying, investing, whatever it is, we have Mr. Kelly Cook in the building with us. How are you doing today, Kelly?
Great, Elizabeth. I love how you said investing too. People always forget that buying and selling, but there's this third thing called investing that us as real estate agents should be looking to do, right?
Absolutely. And we did a couple episodes on that. So if you missed any of that and you are interested in dipping your toe in the investment side of the business, you should go back and listen to those or contact Kelly. I'll give you his information at the end of this episode. But right now we've kind of been on this track of buyers, right? Because that's really I think that sometimes in real estate, we have it where there is more of a struggle to find buyers and to get our clients' homes sold. It's a little bit more challenging for the listing agent, right? Right now, we're kind of seeing that flipped a little bit, maybe.
Completely opposite.
Definitely a lot more difficult for the buyer's agent to get a good deal for their client. So when, I've said this before, but I think it's so funny. Back in, March of last year, so over a year now, we were kind of freaking out a little bit. I think a lot of people were that, all right, shoot, is this going to be are we heading toward another 2008? Are we home values are going to dip, all of that stuff. And it's really been like the absolute opposite, polar opposite of what we kind of expected. So just goes to show you can be an expert of the market, but sometimes, you don't have that crystal ball. You never know for sure.
That's right.
Back on to what we're going to talk about today. Last week, we talked about your not earnest deposit, your escalation clause, too many E words, and how you can get your buyer's offer accepted like that. We've done a couple episodes on that because that's really the difficult part right now. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the option of doing a appraisal gap guarantee, having that as an option to write into your offer. So Kelly, you know all about this. Let's get into it.
Let's dive into it. I tell you what, say that 5 times in a row fast, right? Appraisal gap guarantee.
Guarantee. I know. I had to look and make sure I didn't already mess it up. So
no, you're doing perfect. No, this is great. This is a good topic. I mean, the whole point of this podcast is to deliver timely messages and podcast topics that are just for the market of the moment, right? And right now, the market of the moment is one in which you just described. It's the opposite of what it was several years ago. And right now, finding a seller who wants to sell is the hard part, right? Buyers are everywhere wanting to buy, which is a good thing, but unfortunately, there's not enough houses to purchase across most of the United States. So if you're a seller, let me just sidebar this. If you're a seller, guys, this is the time, right? Most of the people listening to this podcast are in the real estate industry, but you're probably also homeowners. So if you are looking to sell, take the advice if you don't take your own advice, right? And think about doing that if it's something that you're thinking about doing. Which then begs the question, which we're not going to get into today, is how do you answer the question, then if I sell now, where do I go, right? That's a whole nother topic, right? Which we can address in the future. But right now, we're trying to win on buyers getting properties, right? So one thing that you mentioned we talked about last week was escalation clauses. So that was a fantastic topic. Something else that we're talking about today is the appraisal gap guarantee. What is that? Well, right now in the Phoenix area, in our market, it is hot, right? From California, we're getting a minimum of about 5,500 people from California alone relocating to Phoenix, really the whole state, Arizona, every single month, and have been for about a year now since COVID hit, right? So a lot of exodus going to other states as well, but Phoenix is and Arizona is a big benefactor of that.
It's so close.
Also, yeah, so close. There. Also, yeah, I mean, Washington, Oregon, people are leaving in droves too, coming down to, Nevada and Arizona, and of course, Texas. So, and Idaho, right? Those are like kind of the big 4 right now for the West Coast migration. That being said, it's making it very challenging because people who are selling their houses in Seattle and San Francisco and LA, their house for the same house here, traditionally speaking, has been worth a lot more. They got cash, they got money, they're overpaying by whatever, it doesn't matter because it's still cheaper than what they had there. And they get ideally a better quality of life because of, that's why they left, to begin with, right? So how do you get them, that Seattle client or whoever they are, and how do you get them the house, right, when there's multiple offers? Well, a lot of people say, well, hey, if it's financing, just go ahead and just waive the appraisal contingency. And you might have to do that. But if you don't have to do that, your job is your fiduciary to your client, right? If you don't have to do that, don't do that. Maybe you start with an appraisal gap guarantee. So what we just did that actually on a property for a client in which we were the highest bidder based off an escalation clause, but we also had an appraisal gap guarantee in there because what if someone else also had a high escalation clause, right? But they didn't mess with the appraisal contingency. Well, here's a little secret. I kind of knew, a little birdie whispered in my ear, that the other offer that was just as good as ours potentially did not have the full appraisal contingency waiver. So if they don't, and we're going to go hard on price, maybe we just match it, right? And by doing this appraisal gap guarantee. So you have like the situation in the contract where you have an appraisal contingency. Then you have the other end of the spectrum where you have an appraisal contingency waiver. Well, what's in the middle of that? The hybrid of that is that appraisal gap guarantee. So what that effectively says is that your client will automatically pay X amount above the appraised value, however, not to exceed the purchase price, right? Because why would you want to do that, right? You don't want to put your client in double jeopardy there. So in that situation, maybe if you're going to be 40,000 above the asking price or 40,000 above where you think it probably would appraise based upon the data, then you say, we're going to guarantee $15,000, $10,000, $20,000 over the appraised value not to exceed the purchase price. That's a nice little trick that you can use to hopefully give the seller some reassurance that, hey, if this thing doesn't appraise, they're at least automatically in for that $20,000 above, right? They can't cancel because it didn't appraise. Now, if that doesn't reach the purchase price that we all agreed upon, if I, as a seller, still don't want to come down that far because maybe there's still a $10,000 gap, right, between that purchase price and that $20,000 laid on top of the appraisal result, then the buyer can walk. That's the cool part, right? The seller says, I don't want to budge anymore, then okay, then I'm out of here. Or the buyer can figure out a way to maybe still make it work, right, and come out of pocket even more. But they're at least guaranteed to be in for that $20K above the appraised value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It just it's just a little like extra bonus for the seller, right? It's just this little like, all right, I know that we got the money, like they're good, but I think that has, and you tell me, has without that like waiver of appraisal or the gap, has this been an issue that's been kind of like holding some real estate deals from falling apart that you've seen? I know that, probably across the country it has been a little bit more, but have you seen deals fall apart because there isn't, houses aren't appraising as much as they're being offered for right now?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And so they're falling apart. Now, a lot of times the buyers know that, look, there's nothing out there more for me to go and try to buy. So if I really want this house, then I'm going to have to figure out a scrap together this money, right, to make it work. Otherwise I'm going to be canceling. Great, I get my earnest money back. My agent protected me, fantastic, but now I still don't have a house.
Finding another house.
And here's a little trick too, guys. If you do that appraisal gap guarantee, or if you waive the appraisal contingency altogether, be proactive, and instead of just submitting the pre-qualification form from their lender with your offer, also go one step further and submit a bank statement as well, showing the seller that in the event you do have to cover that $20K above the appraised value, or if you waive the whole thing and it's a good amount between where you think it might appraise and where you are on the purchase contract final number, then they have the reassurance of knowing, okay, they got the money, right? And
they're good for it.
They're good for it. I don't have to sit there and go, okay, you're in for $20K because it appraised really low. I guess I'll take it as a seller. I'll take it and just give me that $20K. And they go, oh man, you know what? Now I can't. I don't have the money. The lender won't approve me if I give you that money, right? So something else to keep an eye on, and just to be proactive to try to get your offer accepted, right? That's the key. Get your offer accepted, and that goes. This goes along with everything else we talk about, right? With calling the agent, communication, ask them open-ended questions. Try to, if they won't tell you the number, which most won't, try to bracket where the other offers are by asking, are you at least above asking? Yeah, we are. Like, say it's $500,000. Oh, so like you're north of 515? No, not close. Okay, so now no between 5 and 515, right? And then so hey, I'll offer 515, yours. Now you know, right?
You narrow it down to what's going to help you win. Yeah,
that's right. And then are any of the offers cash? What's their closing date? What does the sellers want? Do they want to post possession? Do they want to stay in the house for a little while? What's most important to them? Because we're going to give you everything that we have control over. Those terms, pricing, sometimes we're capped on a budget, right? Or qualification. So we can't always just go crazy there, but you can try to make up for it with the terms. And one of those terms is the appraisal gap guarantee.
Absolutely. Appraisal gap guarantee. Go back, if you didn't, go back and listen to the escalation clause and how to effectively use that and use it the correct way so that you can actually win for your buyer. And yeah, I think that that's a nice, short, sweet one today, but just a little something extra that you can write into your offers, just to, we're pulling all the stops out, getting all the tactics, finding all the creative ways to, beat out other buyers and get your buyer into a house, right? Because that's the challenge. So
yeah, and it raises your dollar cost, your dollar per hour worth, right?
Yeah.
Because instead of
if you need to go out and find them another house.
There you go. Right. 1 or 2 offers, hopefully get them a house, as opposed to 6, 7, 10 offers and you still don't have one, right?
Which is probably not uncommon right now. So
it's not.
I can imagine. And again, as always, if you have any questions about this, about investing, about anything else we've talked about on here, or you have any ideas for something for us to talk about, Kelly, where can they reach you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. You can reach us at the email info@kellycookhomes.com, or you can call my cell. You can text or call 480-227-2028. And if you want that document that tells you how to build a real estate team effectively and in the correct order, simply go to buildyourrealestateteam.com. Buildyourrealestateteam.com.
Still can't believe we got away with that domain. I love it. So simple.
I know. Can't forget it.
So go there, reach out to Kelly. We will see you guys next week with some more message of the moment, market stuff, keeping you up to date with so much moving and everything right now. So we will see you next time. Bye, Kelly.
See you, Elizabeth. See you guys. Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.